Alright, so in my last video I made about the security housing unit, or the SHU, the most controversial housing unit in the state of California's prison system. And a lot of you guys were asking, well, what gets you put there? Like, what makes you get sent to the SHU? So I will attempt to answer that. The main one, the big one, the one that will get you an indeterminate SHU term. Indeterminate means there's no end in sight. That's yet to be determined, or it's not determined. You're just in there. And that's if you become a validated gang member. They call it a security threat group, STG. And you have to be validated as belonging to an STG to get sent to the hole indeterminately. Now, they have a whole process in doing that. Being investigated and validated as a STG is done by these folks. They're called the Goon Squad collectively by the inmates. It's the IGI and ISU, Investigative Service Unit, or Institutional Gang Investigator. These officers distinguish themselves from regular correctional officers because they wear black outfits or black patches. This is the law enforcement branch of the CDCR. These are actual police officers that investigate crime. They investigate crime and they investigate gang activity within the institution. If these guys show up to search your cell, first of all, that's a bad sign. Second of all, they go through everything. Every single little thing they will go through. So to be validated as an STG, they have a format, and you have to meet all of the criteria of that format in order for them to actually validate you. They can't just say, oh, I think you're a gang member, you're boom, and you're a gang member. No, they have to go through due process. We are still Americans, and we are entitled to due process when it comes to our circumstances of confinement and our liberty being taken. So I don't know all of the criteria off the top of my head, but it's essentially several factors that they'll investigate. And if they can check all those boxes off, that equals validated STG. One of those criteria is tattoos. If you have gang tattoos, that's one box being checked. So any one of these things by themselves cannot validate you, but the confluence or the totality of all these criteria will validate you. So one of them is gang tattoos. The other one is if they can prove that you affiliate with someone who's already validated. So if they can prove that you're in touch with someone who's a validated gang member through an intercepted kite. A kite is a handwritten letter that the inmates write to each other. We call it a kite. So they can intercept, like a note, a kite. Pictures, a picture of you posing with someone who's a known STG member. That's the other one. So it's tattoos, affiliations, and there's other factors. I think one of them might be like literature. If they find any type of like literature or written information regarding the gang, like maybe it's oaths or it's codes of conduct or anything like that. And I forgot what the rest of the criteria were. Basically, though, you have to meet a certain set of circumstances for them to validate you. Once you're a validated STG member, it's straight to the SHU you go. And so other than that, like to catch a determinate SHU term, so like a determined period of time confined in the SHU, it's got to be like guilty of a real serious rule violation report. Like you get caught with a knife or a couple of knives, you can get like a SHU term for that, like 6 months to a year, and other very serious write-ups. And you won't necessarily go to the SHU to do a SHU term. You could sometimes do a SHU term in ADSEG because it's basically the same thing. So that's pretty much it. You got to be a real bad boy to go to the SHU. So hope that answers some questions. Stay tuned. The next video is going to be story time, where I share a rather embarrassing moment of clarity once upon a time. See you later.